What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Hall of Fame Bets NBA Betting Research live stream. Tonight we have 3 NBA playoff games, which will be very fun to research. I think there's going to be lots of really good stuff for us to look at. So, as always, make sure to drop your player props, your parlays down below in the chat, and we will take a look at them and see who came with some heat, who could use a little assistance with some of the research, but very curious to see what you guys have cooked up for tonight and see if we can find some really good bets. Hopefully some of you guys can make some good money from this. So just want to say shout out to Brendan, shout out to Dr. MVP, shout out to Teresa, shout out to Apollo, shout out to everyone tuning in from the chat. Appreciate you guys. And for anyone new, if you're interested in checking out the tools that we use in this live stream, check the link in the description to get 25% off your first month. But let's jump into it, guys. There's so many good props and parlays to research for tonight. I think I love playoff time just because the context behind each game. There's so much meaning, so you know you're going to get the best from these players. And if you can identify those type of things, I think it could be really helpful. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to start with leaderboards. I've been using leaderboards more recently in the playoffs just for those head-to-head matchups and seeing if we can find any heat. So 25 plus points, I'm going to select playing today. One that immediately jumps off at me is this LeBron one, right? Only hitting 60% of games, but if we go to head-to-head, hitting 6 of 7, it's being offered at minus 190 now. This morning was being offered at minus 175. So I'm not sure how much the odds has shifted, if this is the most up-to-date one. But I'm really liking this LeBron for 25 plus points. And let's take a look more into why, guys. First of all, the contextual, right? The series is 3-1 in favor of Denver. So for the Lakers, their season is on the line, right? They have to perform right now. This is it. This is it for them. And LeBron's only getting older, so he knows, right? Like, his time is starting to wind down here. So at 25 plus points, hit in 60% of games this season. However, we know LeBron really turned it up towards the end of this season. So it's hitting 67% of the last 20 games. If we go games against Denver, has hit in 6 of 7 games against Denver. So the head-to-head data is really strong here. Also something I want to look at. In playoff games, how has this performed? This is including the play-in, but this is hitting 4 or 5 playoff/play-in games. Guys, the big thing here, though, to take a look at, which I'm doing throughout the playoffs with anything I'm looking at, I'm coming over to the game log, and I am looking at the minutes. 39 minutes, 42, 38, 41, 41. In a must-win game, he's going to play a ton of minutes tonight. So that's where I'm going to go, okay, what's it look like when LeBron plays 38 minutes per game, right? That's the least he's played so far. He's hitting 83% of games when he's played at least 38 minutes. So that just shows you, right? In these playoff situations, a must-win playoff game where he's going to play as many minutes as possible to get a result, right? Very likely he probably hits this line of 25 plus points. Also want to note, we've seen the head-to-head data, but this aligns with what this is saying in terms of Denver allow quite a few points to power forwards just generally. Right, they're very good defensive teams, but seems like power forward is a weak spot in terms of their defense. So LeBron can definitely be a player that takes advantage of it, and he has in the past. So just wanted to kick you guys off with that prop right there. I think it's a really cool one. And when it comes to LeBron in big games, he's just someone I don't bet against. So that's a cool one for tonight. But yeah, let's take a look at some of your guys' stuff here. I'm going to look at some props. And parlays. And guys, also reminder, when you're sharing a parlay, let me know what the sportsbook is offering that parlay for, just so we can compare the implied odds to the offered odds. That's allowing us to assess good value here. So if you could please share those odds along with your parlay, that would be really great as well. So I see from Teresa, Jaylen Brown over 1.5 steals plus blocks. I don't think we have that specific one. I see Brandon Ingram over 20.5 points, though, and CJ McCollum over 2.5 threes. Teresa, if you could let me know what those two props are being offered at, that would be super helpful. But I'd be definitely interested to take a look there. So we can go over to our parlay optimizer here, and we are going to throw in Brandon Ingram, and that's 20.5 points. The over there. And then we are going to look at add leg, CJ McCollum. And Teresa, if you could let me know the odds for this parlay of Brandon Ingram over 20.5 points and CJ McCollum for over 2.5 threes. Let's take a look here and see what we're working with. Let's see what we're working with. So we see that this parlay has hit in only 28% of games this season. In the playoffs / play-in, this is hitting none of these games, right? Ingram is actually only hitting 1 of 5, and McCollum is hitting 0 of 5. So while the Pelicans are up against it, right? I know they're also playing for their season. This has not performed well recently at all in the playoffs. And, that's not to say it's not possible. Like, when it says 0%, that doesn't mean it's impossible for this to occur, Teresa. But what it is saying is it's pretty unlikely based on recent games. And then even when we use a larger trajectory over the course of the season. And head-to-head, it's not performed well either. So this definitely makes me a little nervous for this one here. I think it's possible, right? Ingram, McCollum, great players who do hit these lines. But I'm definitely a little nervous for this one in terms of the recent performances don't look great. I think Ingram's just recently came back from an injury, so you can kind of tell that in his play. And then also, like McCollum, his threes, he's not been shooting the ball as well. It's possible this hits tonight, but I would say in terms of a play that I'm looking at with value, probably one I wouldn't personally be looking at. So that's just something to keep in mind there. I'm going to go back over it, guys. I'm going to switch between a play from you guys, a play from kind of the tools that we're looking at directly too, and see if we can find stuff. But yeah, keep sharing stuff. I see a bunch of stuff from Brendan, Jay, who else we have here? Dr. MVP, the original, Zell dropping stuff. So I will get to all that stuff, guys. I'm very excited to look through some of your guys' stuff, usually coming with quite a bit of heat for us. I'm going to take a look here at trends and just see if there's anything we want to analyze here. As you guys know, I love this hit rate slider, that 70% plus. Let's go last 20 and get those odds in a range we want for tonight's games. And then also make sure we're selecting for tonight's games as well here. And yeah, let's do it. Wait up, I want to get that Lakers game in too. There we go. So, scrolling through here, we're seeing a couple things, guys, and these are what the sportsbooks are doing right now. They're kind of putting up a lot of unders for star players and a lot of overs for role players because they know, right, star players are going to play more minutes. That's why they're trying to promote unders for these stars, right? Like, oh, Tatum under. He normally does go under. But wait up. No, he's going to play maybe 40 minutes tonight. Like, that's how they're trying to trick you. Or they're putting these little low lines that they don't usually offer these low lines during the regular season, but they're doing it because they know a lot of these role players are going to be playing fewer minutes than normal, so they're going to be going under. So they're offering a lot of overs for these. So this is where the minutes filter, minutes slider is going to be key when we're checking any of these and checking their recent performances in the playoffs too. One I kind of liked for tonight was I was looking at Sam Hauser. He had some interesting ones. I thought Horford had some interesting stuff as well, too. Let's see here. Just kind of scrolling through. Again, we're seeing lots of Tatum unders on here. But I thought Hauser could be an interesting one. Let's take a look at Hauser's page right here, and then we'll bump back over to a couple of your guys' stuff, too. Yeah, so the thing with Hauser, and this is, again, where the tools come in so helpful. So I had him over 5.5 points for tonight. We take the over here. And, we see with Hauser being offered at minus 130 some good... Actually, I had him over 4.5, excuse me. This was being offered at minus 170 this morning. It's been bumped to minus 180. But a couple things I really like with this one are... The recent performances are strong. And this is where I start to look through the game log and see playoff games. Okay, in playoff games, he's averaging around 16 minutes. So that's something I want to keep in mind. But in the playoff games so far, this is hit. And it comes down to a couple things. I think with Hauser, he's known for his three-point shooting, right? He's known for his three-point shooting. So in this case here, if he's getting enough minutes, if he's getting around 15 to 20 minutes, am I confident he's going to at least knock down 1 3? And then maybe at least get one more bucket. So I see a Kai saying that's 2 threes for him. Yeah. So that's where I played it a little safer, right? Over 5.5 would be 2 threes. I went to 4.5 just because I feel like, okay, I'm confident he's going to hit a 3 while he's out there. But then maybe his other opportunity is just a regular basket, like a 2-pointer. So that's why I played it safe. But I see the argument for 2 threes as well. So it's hitting all 3 playoff games so far. Pretty small sample size, but it seems like he's been kind of on more of a tear recently. Though, we have to note, guys, right? We have to note that in this case here, some of these games towards the end of the season, we don't want to put as much stock in them because, right, towards the end of the season, the Celtics were resting some of their stars, Tatum, Brown, some of these star players. So we see, in those recent games right before the playoffs started, 35 minutes, 30 minutes. Like that's not what he's going to be playing tonight. So we have to be mindful of that. Let's see in games against Miami how he's performed. So he's hitting, obviously, the 3 playoff games and then 2 or 3 regular season games too. And in these games against Miami, he's averaging around 14 minutes per game, which is what we expect him to play tonight. So I think we can kind of expect a similar type of performance and a similar type of outcome here. So that's why I'm kind of liking this one. One thing we can check too to help us, like let's say he plays around, 16-ish minutes. So when Hauser plays between, let's set the bottom limit as 14 and the upper limit as let's say maximum he plays 20 per se. So when Hauser plays between 14 and 20 minutes, this is hitting 70% of games. So it's still a positive edge there, which I really like. So I think, when we factor in the minutes, when we look at head-to-head, recent performances, though, we're mindful of minutes. That's why we're checking the minutes. This looks pretty good here for Hauser. And I think if you want to play it a little bit more risky, we see the risk involved here, right? When he's playing this amount of minutes, that jump, 70% over 4.5 to 44% over 5.5. And that's because, when he's playing 14 to 20 minutes, he may not knock down that second 3-pointer. That other point may come in the way of a 2-pointer. So that's why I'm playing it a little safer. But I totally get going for 2 threes or going for over 5.5 points. So, yeah, that's a little breakdown of another prop I like for today. That Sam Hauser one. And let's see if there's any others that kind of stand out here on trends as we go through them. Do you guys want to see this parlay I put together too quickly? This was a fun one that I liked. It was being offered at plus 108. So if we go over here to the parlay optimizer, we had this parlay for tonight. We went, it was Derek White for 12 plus points. And then I went with Horford for 5 plus rebounds. Okay. So again, Derek White, starting player. We know he's going to play a ton in the playoffs. Not too worried there. My concern was a little bit more with Horford here, right? That's something I wanted to keep in mind. So if we actually go over to his stat page quickly, if we go over to Horford's stat page, and as this is loading, guys, just want to say all the research we're doing tonight is using the Hall of Fame Bet software research tool. So it's a great platform, really in-depth, gives really good research. So I definitely recommend checking it out. Link in the description to get 25% off. Link and promo code in the description to get 25% off your first month. It's a really phenomenal tool, and I think some of the subscribers will even speak to it in the chat as well there. And included in it is our access to our Discord server where subscribers research together. So it's really good stuff. But anyways, looking at Horford's 5 plus rebounds here, we see with Horford, this is hit in all 3 playoff games so far. And he's playing around between 22 to 26 minutes. That's what it's kind of his range has been in this series. If we see against Miami, he's hitting all games against Miami this season, which I really love. And again, he's averaging around 24 minutes against Miami. So if we go to the minute slider again, we may want to check, right? If Horford plays between, let's say 20 is like a lower end, and then let's set that upper end around 26 or so. That's 28 there. So still hitting 76% of games. So even with that in mind, I think that looks really good for the 5 plus rebounds. We can see against, top rate defenses because They're a very good defensive team. Like, how does that impact Horford's performances? Still really strong. I mean, Horford's known for his consistency. So, this is a great example of how this all works. So, I would say if we go back over to the Parlay Optimizer now, we see this is hitting 58% of games this season. However, in away games, hitting 63%. This was being offered at plus 108, so this is like a 15% edge. Really quality edge here, and this was being offered on DraftKings for anyone interested. In head-to-head, hitting 5 of 6 head-to-head games. And then in the playoffs, of course, hitting all 3 playoff games this season. So this is looking really good in my opinion. Another one I really like for tonight as well. But that's some of the stuff I've researched. Let's drop into some of your guys' stuff as well, too. So I see, I'm going to look for ones with odds, guys. So if you want yours to be researched, make sure to please share it with the odds that the parlay offers. Otherwise, it's hard for us to determine whether there's value or not. Because it could look good, but, if the odds aren't being offered. Like, if this was being offered at minus 200... I wouldn't feel the same, right? The value's not there. So even if the research good, we need to know how it compares to what the book is offering. So let's go over to, and if you could share combined odds, that would be really great too, for the combined odds for these. So I see from Jay, AD 25 plus points, Michael Porter Jr. 15 points. And also when yours gets, we go through yours, feel free to just share some of what you were thinking, right? Like maybe there's something I'm missing as I'm going through it. So please don't hesitate to kind of go through and be like, oh yeah, I like this part, I like that part, the head-to-head was good. That's kind of what I'm riding with hard here, because that's valuable to know. Like, what are you basing your research off of? And of course, we'll see some of that as we go through it. But of course, too, it's interesting to hear from you guys what you're thinking as you're going through these plays. So I love to kind of pick your guys' brain, because everyone has slightly different strategies, and I always find myself learning a lot on these live streams from you guys. So we have Michael Porter Jr. for 8+ rebounds being shared by Jay. Shout out Jay. So let's take a look. This is being offered at plus 214, so some decent value here. We see this is hit in 26% of games this season. That's plus 280. So a slight negative edge there. But let's see in recent games, hitting 40% of the last 10. However, let's go to the playoffs, because, again, down the stretch can affect things. So this is hitting, looks like 4 of 5 playoff games. I think it's hitting all playoff games. Yes, it's hitting all playoff games between the Lakers and Denver. So off to a really strong start here. I think this is probably the core insight that, okay, this will continue on throughout the series. Let's see what else we want to look at here. Home and away. Okay. So still overall a negative edge, but we're really, I think, the key point that Jay is locking in here, like the key point that he's really honing in on is the head-to-head in the playoffs has been really strong. And just head-to-head overall has been very strong. AD's hitting 5 of 7. Porter Jr. looks like he's hitting all 7. So, this is a really strong, it's very much focused on the head-to-head and recent performances head-to-head. I'd be curious to see, to key in on each of these. So we want to look at maybe rebounding rank, for example. Against below-average rebounding teams, not a huge jump in terms of Porter's performances. So nothing too big there. Let's see last 20. Nothing too big. I think this one is largely based on, again, the head-to-head, and if you think this will reoccur again. Let's take a look at AD and see if there's anything else we can find here. Defensive rank. When AD plays those top defenses, guys, it looks like he takes his game to another level, hitting 78% of games against defenses ranked in the top quartile. For him tonight, a lot of motivation with the season on the line as well. Oh, Jay said you forgot to add Porter 15+ points. My apologies there, Jay. Missed that part. So let's add points 15+, and then also Michael Porter Jr. rebounds, and we are looking at 8+ there as well. So, okay, this is being offered for, again, the same kind of range we were looking at. That what Jay was saying was plus 214. So only hit in 20% of games this season. So quite a significant negative edge now what we're looking at here. But I assume it's very similar to what Jay was talking about before in terms of this is very much largely based in that head-to-head performances. Porter's hitting 6 of 7 for points, 7 of 7 for rebounds, and 85 of 7. In the playoffs, this is hitting, I assume, all 4 playoff games. So this one is shared by Jay, guys, being offered at plus 214 on FanDuel. Again, if this was a regular game, probably would be fading this one, but the head-to-head, particularly in the playoffs, is looking pretty good here. So do we feel like it just comes down to, do you think this trend will continue as it has in the first 4 games? And I would say what I've found with NBA, obviously home and away matter, but once you kind of see something work in both home and away, it typically means it's probably going to be a trend for the remainder of the series. So great research here, Jay. Thank you for sharing this one. Let's take a look at some other stuff here. Okay. I see a stat one. I see this one is coming in from our friend, The Original. And he says, Christian Braun over 4.5 points. Can definitely take a look here. Plays for the Nuggets. And let's see what we're looking at. So this is being offered at minus 114. So definitely a great straight here. And we want to see how this has performed recently. So in the playoffs so far, this is hitting 2 of 4 games. It's split, 50% at home, which is where they'll be playing tonight. So, not off. It's not off to a bad start, but not off to a strong start either, is what I would say. The Original. I feel kind of mixed. Not like a strong start. Let's see against the Lakers just overall this season. Only hit in 43% of games against the Lakers. Don't particularly love that either. So Braun averages around 20 minutes per game in the regular season. Let's take a look and see, right? In the playoffs, 18, 13, 17, 12. So let's take a look and see for minutes, right? When he's playing between 12, right? Let's see when he's playing between 12 and 20. If we want to be nice, we can go 20. It's hitting around 56% of games. So that's being offered at minus 1. The implied odds minus 125 to minus 114. Pretty even there. Very slight positive edge. So The Original, what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing a play that's probably, you're getting kind of what you're asking from the books. The books are saying this is like a minus 114. It's a coin flip. So, and based on the data, it kind of seems like a coin flip too. So it seems like kind of a 50-50 if we're looking at the data here. That means 50-50 means it's very possible it could hit. I'm not saying it can't, but it also means it's kind of a little bit more in the balance, and you just kind of have to wait and see how things play out here. Let's take a look and see against similar ranked defenses, for example, how this has performed. Lakers look like a bottom quartile defense. Though I'm hesitant, they're right on the 25th, so I'm going to go below average here, just because it's playoffs. Every team kind of naturally improves defensively. So if we want to go, again, that minutes range we're looking at, that 20 to 12, which he still hasn't played 20 minutes. If we go, I'd be curious to see at 18, what it looks like. So when he plays between 18 and 12 minutes, it's again 50%. It really looks like a 50-50. So yeah, The Original, I hope that was helpful. And again, whatever you decide to go with on this one, best of luck with it. Again, I think you're kind of getting fair value in terms of, what the sportsbook are saying. They're saying it's around a 50-50. The data's showing it looks to be around a 50-50. So I think obviously move with caution. Your bankroll and everything. But yeah, best of luck with whatever you decide there. And yeah, it looks to be kind of like a 50-50 here. So I appreciate you sharing that play. Shall we move? Let's do one more, and then I'll kind of go back through. I see a couple here. Let's take a look at Dr. MVP over OKC, 105.5 total team points as a lock. That's what he's saying. I may look at this one. I'm going to look at it in stats, and I'm also going to look at it in the parlay optimizer. And Dr. MVP will probably pop up, but just in case if not, what are the odds you're getting for this OKC prop? Would be very curious to hear. We're going to go where is it? Team points. Over 105.5. Being offered at minus 120. So, again, a good value here for the straights. This is hitting 2 of 3. Looks like it's hitting 2 of 3 playoff games. So that's off to a good start there. They're away. Hitting 76% of away games for OKC this season. I would be curious to see against the Pels how this is performed. Done really well against the Pelicans, though a lot of these lines are very tight, right? 106, 107, that looks pretty comfortable. 106. Did go under in one of the playoff games recently. So, yeah. Seeing away games against the Pelicans. How large is our sample size? Hitting all 3 away games, though very tight. Just going to play around with the odds here. Dr. MVP, have you thought about playing it maybe just that slight bit safer? Like, it looks like minus 120 for over 105.5. We could go at 104.5 minus 125. Looks like Caesars offers 103.5 at minus 125. So, guys, depending on your sports books, I would maybe consider 103.5 or 104.5 just to play it that tiny bit safer, just because they've been so close. But, yeah, I think it looks pretty good. A couple other things we could look at, too, is maybe, like, opponent rank. That could be a good one. Or actually defensive rank, too. Because the Pelicans are definitely an above-average defensive team, still hitting 79% of those games. Some great value there. If we want to look at opponent rank, though, above-average opponents, hitting 80% of games. So it looks like the Thunder offense really consistent. They average 119 points per game. Again, this is playoffs, better defense, things we have to take into account. But I think overall, well-researched play. So shout out to Dr. MVP. A member of the Discord as well, too. So shout out to Dr. MVP for that. Always dropping heat in there. And guys, yeah, that's another cool thing included in the Hall of Fame Bet subscription. Access to our Discord server where members like Dr. MVP, people on our team, we all research together, find some really fire stuff. That is included in your subscription. So check out the link in the description if you're enjoying these tools, and sign up using the promo code to get 25% off your first month. Okay. Want to move over. I'm going to go to Zell. I'm going to go to Kai. And then I'm going to look up for a couple more plays myself. And then maybe a few more. And then we'll kind of start to wrap there. But shout out to everyone tuning in so far. I think we've found some heat. We found some really good stuff for tonight. Guys, here's also what I want to know in the chat. Who is your pick to win the NBA Finals this year? Like, who do you think is going to win it all? Let me know in the chat. I know a lot of you guys are sports betting fans, but also basketball fans. So let me know your team and who you think is going to win it all. I'm leaning right now towards the Nuggets. I think they're going to go back-to-back. I think out the West, I like the Nuggets. I like the winner of the Clippers or Mavericks series. And in the East, I think the Celtics are runaway favorites. So I'd be curious to see what you guys think. But I think the Clippers, or depending on their health, or the Mavericks could give the Nuggets a good run for the money. And actually, Zell, the Timberwolves are a sneaky pick right now. They just swept the Suns, are playing good basketball. A team I didn't take too seriously, but Anthony Edwards is real. He is legit. He is a very good player. And they also have, of course, McDaniels. They've got KD, but we got McDaniels. And then also they have, of course, Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, some really other nice pieces too. So, all right, back to our betting, but I just want to know who you guys got down below. I see Nuggets from Dr. MVP. Tanner says Boston, and Zell says Timberwolves. Apollo, I didn't see a comment getting deleted. I don't see that at all. But if you want to reshare, let me know. I didn't delete anything. I'm just scrolling through the chat. I'm actually not typing or using it. I'm just reading your guys' messages and playing around with the tool. So let me know what your comment was there. But let me go back up here to Zell's parlay. Zell, Zell, could you share the odds for these? It's super helpful to know I see you shared two different ones. So let me go first to Kai then with this one. He has Jaylen Brown. Going to go over to the parlay optimizer here. Celtics game. So we have Brown for 18 plus points. We're going to add in Tatum for 8 plus rebounds. I know that's what I seen earlier today. I think he's hitting 100% of games against the Heat this season or something like that, or quite a few head-to-head games. We're going to go and Derek White, 10 plus points. And then we are going to add in Reeves 12 plus points. I like that one. That's actually one that I had taken myself for today was Reeves for 12 plus. LeBron for 25. Yo, I'm liking this. I mean, maybe I'm biased. I've seen some of these. And then Lakers money line. Woo! You are making me a little nervous with that Lakers money line. I'm not going to lie. I feel like the Nuggets gave them game 3. But game 4, that makes me a little nervous. But let's take a look and see. The money line does make it a little funky for calculation here sometimes. So yeah, but let's take a look. This is hit in 6% of games this season, plus 1,390. It's being offered at plus 1,000. So, a slight negative edge, but it's when these bigger bets are not as likely to hit. But let's take a look at head to head. So, I think the thing that's kind of dragging this down right now, a large part of this, of course, is the money line. I think that's a little, again, the money line's pretty risky, but let me just look and calculate without money line. Because with the money line, it's going to show this is pretty risky. But let's just see these props without the money line here. So without money line, this is hitting 15% of games this season. It is hitting 48% of head-to-head games. So it looks like Brown is hitting 5 of 6, Tatum 6 of 6, White 5 of 6 against the Heat, and then Reeves and LeBron have both hitting 6 of 7 against the Nuggets. We can also go to playoff games. We can see how it's performed in the playoffs. Brown has hit 2 of 3, while these guys have hit both head-to-head. Both playoff games, and then Reeves is hitting 3 of 4. LeBron in 4 of 4. So the head-to-head, the playoffs, I think is largely what this parlay is built off of. Of course, if you think the Lakers are going to win, I think it's a nice add in there. It does make me nervous though, considering they're playing at Denver. I'd be curious to see, if we go to the Lakers stat page. I guess they did win game 3 in Denver. Excuse me. That was. They're going back to Denver. I don't know if they've won away at Denver this year. They have failed to win a single game while playing in Denver this season. That does make me concerned for the money line there. Though they were very close in game 2. We're 99 to 101. So, again, that's a pretty big risk there, that money line. But I think, if you're tailing recent performances and then you're expecting a Lakers upset, I would just manage your bankroll with this one. Obviously, you know how much you have to bet, Kai, but definitely manage your bankroll here. Play it smart, play it safe is what my advice would be. All right. Let's go over here. Etche! What is up, Etche? How are we doing, bro? Etche says Horford over 11.5 or 12.5 points. Let's take a look here. And then Zell, we'll get over to your one. And then Quaid, we've got you as well. So I see Horford. We're going to go points. 11.5, and we're looking at the over here. We're looking at the over. Points and rebounds. Sorry, excuse me. Points and rebounds. So this is hit 11.5. Yeah, Zell, I saw that. I will definitely take a look at your play next. So Horford over 11.5 points plus rebounds. Etche, if you don't mind me asking, what are the odds you're getting for this? It's not integrated here on this one. I'd be very curious to hear what the odds are for both 11.5 and 12.5. That would be super helpful for me getting to assess here. But it looks pretty good in terms of just straight off the bat. This is hit in 74% of games this season. It has hit in, looks like 4 of 6 games against Miami, though it is hit in all 3 playoff games. The big thing would be minutes again. We want to check that minute slider. and we want to see, you know, when he's playing around that 22 to like 26 minutes. We'll go 20 to 28 just to be safe. Make that a little larger depending on, you know, circumstances and how the game plays out. Still hitting 70% of games. So we're not getting the odds here from Etche. I may go just check DraftKings real quick just to see, since we're this far into the play already. But yeah, I think this play looks pretty good. Give me 1 second here, guys. I am just going to load up DraftKings to go take a look here and see what we're working with for Horford. So Horford, Big Al. It's crazy that he's still playing. I think Horford's what, close to 40 years old now. Very impressive. He's had a phenomenal career. Okay, so at 12 plus, we are getting minus 175. Let's see what we're getting at. Let's go here. Points. So on DraftKings, yeah, I see for 12 plus. I'm not seeing for over 12.5. Oh, actually, no, I do. That's the straight is over 12.5. So let's take a look at over 12.5 here. So over 12.5 has hit in. That's hitting 65% of head-to-head games. Excuse me, of games in those minute range. That is hit in all 3 games so far this playoffs, which I really like to see. And then also it is hit in 4 of 6 overall. You know what? I would run with 12.5 here. This is where I would hedge a little more aggressively. So I would go 12.5 for Horford points plus rebounds. That's a straight, and this was being shared by Etche. So Etche, shout out to you for that one. Another Discord subscriber there. All right. Zell, Quaid, Car Dude. We got you guys, all right? Zell's got, we're going to go over to the Parlay Optimizer. Guys, if you're enjoying, too, the live stream thus far, all this research can be done using Hall of Fame bets. You can do it yourself. Super simple, super easy. I'm not some expert. Obviously, I use these tools a lot. I research bets a lot for this stuff, but I'm not some expert. I'm not a capper. I don't, you know what I mean? I'm just someone who understands how to use these tools, look at the data, and from that we can find, I think, some pretty solid plays. And shout out to all the people who have shared really solid stuff too, whether that be subscribers from our Discord, people that are new. If you want to join though, if you want to join Hall of Fame Bets, our app or website, check out the link in the description. Use the promo code to get 25% off that first month. So let's go over here to from Zell. D'Angelo Russell. We want to look at threes, and we want to go, let's see here, 3 plus threes, and then we are going to add in Anthony Davis, 30 plus points. Oops, I put 31. And then we are going to go Michael Porter over 6.5 rebounds. Okay. So this is being offered at plus 629. And we are going to see that this is hit in... This is only hitting 4% of games this season. So off the bat, a very negative edge. However, this is not the same as the season. This is playoffs, so we have to keep that in mind. It is hit in 17% of head-to-head games. Russell has struggled to shoot the ball against the Nuggets. And something to keep in mind, too, with D'Lo, if we go to the Nuggets, let's go to D'Lo's page first. But with Denver, right, I think they have a very strong three-point defense. So, yeah, they allow the second fewest three-pointers in the league and 6th to point guards. So they have a really strong three-point defense. So that makes me a little nervous for this one, if I'm being honest. Let's see recent performances in the playoffs. So D'Lo has hit in, playoffs against Denver. D'Lo has hit in 2 of 4. Davis has hit in 3 of 4. And then Porter has hit in all 4. So, you know what? If I'm being honest, I'm not. Again, this is not to say that D'Lo will not hit. It's possible he could. He very well could. But I would maybe consider looking to go a little bit more aggressive with Porter's rebounds and then dropping D'Lo. That could be one suggestion. I don't know. That's just one idea I'm kind of floating out there. Zell. Let's take a look. I'm just kind of considering some other factors here that we're looking at. Let's see. Has D'Lo in away games, he's hitting 1 of 3 against Denver. In one of those games, he did have 7, but other games 1 and 2. How about D'Lo just on the road generally? I'm curious to see. So he's hitting 55% of games this season on the road, 51%. This is a big game for the Lakers. It's a tough one to say. I think, if you do go with it, I would just say manage your bankroll. Obviously, it's a larger parlay, plus 623, so please bet very smart. Zell says, I like 8 rebounds, maybe then 2 threes for D'Lo. Yeah, that could be another way to look at it. Zell, could you quickly plug that in and tell me what the odds are you're getting for that? I'd be curious to kind of hear on that. So if we go over 7.5, let me know what the odds are you're getting for that. So this is still only hit in 6% of games. I think the AD prop is really dragging it down, but that's not factoring for playoffs. This is hitting 17% of head-to-head. Let's see here. In home and away games, around 10%. Let's see head-to-head in the playoffs. So D'Lo's hit this line in 2 of 3. Excuse me. D'Lo's hit this line in 2 of 4 playoff games. Porter's hitting all 4, 83 of 4. Zell, do we have any confirmation or information on what these odds look like? This doesn't actually statistically, it doesn't look like it changes it that much. So it's offered at plus 496. Let's see here. I'd be curious to see D'Lo's game log against. So leg 1, 4-7-1. I'm gonna go to his page again here, his individual page, and take a look here. Again, these larger parlays can be difficult at times too, right? Plus 500 odds typically means it's like a less than a 20% likelihood of occurring. If that's what the sports book is saying. So we typically want to find an improvement on that. So yeah, this has hit or we'll see against Denver. Also, something we want to consider too is D'Lo's minutes, right? What are his minutes going to look like? They fluctuated a lot. 41, 39, then 24, then 41. So I think part of it's too how many minutes he ends up playing in this game. I would say he probably ends up playing like 38 plus. So let's see. Let's actually go back into the parlay. I guess we can't do that in the parlay optimizer. I don't think we have the minutes. So yeah, I quite like this one of 2 plus 3s, Davis for 30 points, and Porter Jr. for over 7.5. I personally probably prefer it to the other one, but I think the other one's saying the data is not bad for it either. So I think whatever way you feel comfortable playing it. I would also say, Zell, I would also say, right, larger parlay. Just make sure you manage your bankroll if you do decide to go with either of these. You have to ultimately weigh those pros and cons for yourself. And if you do decide to go with it, just make sure you're betting responsibly as well, too, and managing your bankroll there. But, yeah, that's kind of an analysis on that. I hope that was kind of helpful to look at and gave you maybe another option to consider, too. So, yeah. Let's go on to... I want to go to Quaid and regular card dude, and then we will wrap it up here. So Quaid says, Tatum, I don't think we have 3 free throws on here, unfortunately. That can be something we add. Is that something that you guys would like us to add? I don't think that's one that's currently being offered, but let me double check. I could be wrong. I just haven't personally bet on free throws using Hall of Fame bets before. Doesn't look like we have free throws, so apologies about that. We'll move over to card dude. Says add. Oh, he says add LeBron to the parlay. I think he was referring to one of the ones earlier. Last one here then. I see one more from Lasse. who says you like Austin Reeves for 2+3s. Let's take a look. I like Austin Reeves for like 12+ points, but I'd be curious to take a look at his threes. So, and Lasse, I appreciate you tuning in. All right, so we're going to go threes. We will look at 2+ here. So Reeves has hit this line in 57% of games against Denver. So kind of pretty comparable to what's being offered for. In the playoffs against Denver, Reeves is hitting 2 of 4. So not the strongest performances. He split home and away so far. Denver have a really strong three-point defense rank against shooting guards, so that kind of turns me possibly away from it as well, is what I would say. So that also makes me a little nervous. We expect Reeves to play a lot of minutes tonight, probably at least 30+, if not more. So we could take a look at his minute slider there. But I don't think that the three-point shooting matchup is great for Denver. I would actually consider maybe looking at some of his points lines. I think that could be a better look for tonight. Just personally, just because, again, it looks like this series his 3-point shooting's been kind of up and down. 1 for 6, 2 for 5, 1 for 5, 2 for 6. So he's been a little cold from 3-point land, and that's probably because Denver's 3-point defense is really, really good. So maybe consider him for like a points line is what I would say, because I think he's still been scoring, right? 21, 22, 9, 13. So he's still been scoring, but his 3-point percentage has been a little down right now. So, all right. Last thing I want to take a note of here. Dr. MVP says, I like AD for 30+ points, but maybe a straight bet. I agree. I think let's take a look at this one, and this will be the last thing before we wrap. But yeah, Anthony Davis for 30+ points looks to be a pretty good one in my opinion. Right, this is a elimination game for the Lakers at +200. When AD is playing, I mean, we can expect him to basically play like what? At least I'd say 38+ tonight, based on the playoff game. So when he's played 38+ minutes, this is hitting 51% of games. That's -105. So we're getting a significantly strong edge here. So I really like the edge that we're getting on this. We can see games against Denver. He's gone over in 4 of 6 in playoff games. He's gone over, and if we want to go specifically against Denver, he's hitting 3 of 4 playoff games against Denver. So I'm really liking this one for Anthony Davis in terms of, and they allow a lot of points to opposing centers. That's something we have to consider. 27th in points allowed to opposing centers. So I think if you want a little bit more of a risky straight that offers some really high-end value, Anthony Davis +200 for 30+ points, I would definitely consider it. Again, manage your bankroll, right? When plays are a little safer, maybe we feel a little bit more comfortable putting some more money on it. When it's a little bit more risky, obviously want to kind of draw in the amount we're putting out. But yeah, guys, that is it for tonight's live stream. If you enjoyed the stream, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. But if you want access to these research tools, the Hall of Fame Bets research tools, we saw the Parlay Optimizer tonight. That's innovative. That's the only one in the space. We have the stats pages, leaderboards, trends. If you guys want access to these research tools, check out the link in the description. And use the promo code to get 25% off your first month. Included in your subscription is access to the Discord server, which is a really cool, fun community where people like Dr. MVP, I think, and a few others on here as well tonight, are a part of. And that's where there's a lot of really good, really good data-driven research going on in there, and cool people to just bounce ideas off of too. So we will wrap it up there. Best of luck with your bets all tonight. And yeah, we'll see you back next week for another stream. Take it easy, y'all. Peace.